Hello and welcome everyone to the Double Bill Podcast, a podcast with two film lovers discussing two films. My name is Michael Smith, and alongside me, as always, is Jacob Deering.
How's it going?
But today we have our first special guest, the man who you may know.
Myth.
He
The
is.
legend.
He does the sound. He does acting. He does producing. He does directing. He's a fellow filmmaker, fellow film lover. He is the one and only Beau McGary. You might find him on YouTube on the Morning After Show. That's morning with a U, not just morning, the way we always know it. Morning with a U. He is Beau McGary. Go and introduce yourself, Beau. What's up?
How's it going, everybody? That was quite the hype, I have to say. I want to meet Beau McGary now. He sounds awesome. No, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I like watching movies. I actually really like Noir. So
Really? What's
yeah, my favorite Noir is still probably Brick. I know that doesn't
Brick?
count, but
Okay.
it doesn't count.
That was my favorite Noir as well. Like it's still like up there for me. It doesn't have. Yeah,
It's a solid modern neo-noir, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, some Ryan Johnson. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great choice.
It's the dialogue every time.
Every time. Dude.
That movie has some of the coolest lines I've ever heard.
Really? Dude. Some of the coolest shots too. Like I love some of the what's it called? There's like a shot in that movie in the bedroom. I forget what it's called because I haven't seen it in the drug house in the bedroom. There's like a really cool like long shot where I don't know, but
that entire house is lit amazing. I could do an entire like dissertation on that film. I love that movie.
We might
love that movie.
We might just have to do that. We'll
and
do that.
Yeah. y'all are film there. You've seen Drive. There's no way y'all haven't seen Drive. If you've seen
every film bro seen Drive.
Every film bro ever has seen
every
Drive.
film bro.
That's part of the film bro 10 commandments.
That's our
exactly.
That's our
the initiation, man.
That's our modern day taxi driver, basically.
It really is.
It's almost a ripoff, but yeah, every film bro has to have seen that. I always like get mad if someone's like, I don't like that movie, and I'm like, you don't love movies, then fuck you.
Then you don't know anything.
Exactly.
You have a job? That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
you should get your boss should fire you for not liking Drive.
I'm telling you, man. Every film student I know, like they'll strap you down, Clockwork Orange style, and just force you to watch Drive until you like it.
Dude, I've shown everyone in the world if they haven't seen them, and I just like hung out with them and met them. I'm like, have you seen Drive? Let me show you Drive. And then they end up like, I don't know. It was kind of slow. It was kind of boring. Ryan Gosling didn't say anything. And I'm like,
exactly.
Have you seen any of Ryan Gosling's good movies? He never says shit.
I know.
He's
oh my God.
Phenomenal actor. But let's get into it. Today, guys, we'll be talking about The French Connection and Chinatown. And again, we chose these. If you listened last week, we chose these two movies because they have a small connection to the Batman, which we are leading up to coming out next week. We're this close. It is my most anticipated movie of the year. And it was supposed to come out 2 years ago, but obviously COVID, and now it's out now. So I'm ready. But these two movies are must see for people that love noir, for people that want to be ready for the Batman, fans of Jack Nicholson's, fan of Rob Schneider, whatever it is. These are must see. These are like the noir films. And
Rob Schneider.
Roy Schneider, my bad.
I was like, the paperclip, like what? The stapler, yeah, dude.
The stapler. But yeah, so we are going to sit here and talk about this one today. But let's get into some relevant news of the week to get started, to kind of catch you guys up on some of the most important topics in film of the week. For me, and I think for Jacob and for Beau as well, he has some special words to say about a certain movie we're about to bring up. The box office. It's back. Only for a week, and then it'll be back again for the Batman. But it kind of shocked everyone this week. Because Uncharted made $51 million at the box office, and Channing Tatum's movie Dog came out at 18 million, and then Spider-Man No Way Home is still killing it at 9 million. But Uncharted, I think that says a few things about Tom Holland and his stardom now. He's finally he brings
his
an
name's
audience.
got pool, man.
Yeah,
that's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
now he's Nathan Drake.
I know it's an IP and Uncharted is a game. I have one of my closest friends loves that series, so he is insulted by this movie. But I think a lot of people went to go see it because of Tom Holland. That's why I went to go see it. I hadn't seen played any of the games. What about you, Beau? What's your thoughts on Uncharted?
I'm about to name drop so fucking hard. Are you guys ready for this?
Hell
the
yeah.
lead actress in Uncharted, Sophia Ali, went to my high school. We were in the same theater department.
Oh yeah. We would tell you what high school that is, but
I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, we don't want to get serial killers on us.
Well, no, I don't want the high school to find me. You know?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I made it out of there once. I'm not, I don't want them to have any sort
right back in.
I didn't actually pass the tax test. So
yeah, the tax test, man. I haven't heard that one in a long time.
For real, man.
No, but I'm actually watching Spider-Man. I'm in the theaters for that movie, and then Uncharted trailer pops up, and Sophia's on screen, and I'm like, wait a second, and I pull up my phone and I Google it, and I'm like, holy shit! I looked in my phone. I still have her phone number. I'm like, holy shit. She's actually one of the reasons I got into acting in film. Actually,
really?
She was it was her and another friend of mine in theater who went to this place in Louisville for talent development and like acting on screen. And I was like, okay, I'll go do that, because I knew Sophia at that point had done like Grey's Anatomy, and like she's been around. So to see her doing so well is really exciting. And it's people forget like a lot of talent actually comes out of like North Texas, like this specific area. Yeah. So it blew my mind to see her on screen. I was like, that means I'm one step away from Spider-Man.
This close, man.
So I'm essentially famous.
He was a nun that had to fart. Soon he'll be in Spider-Man. Which gotta say, you guys really got to check out that YouTube channel, because Beau's directorial debut Echoes is on there. Did you direct Branded as well?
Actually, Branded's my directorial debut.
Yeah. Oh, Branded, which is a Star Wars fan film. That kind of really got them YouTube famous. I'll put air quotes. They have more followers than any of my friends, and I think that's impressive.
Okay.
Beau won't say that's famous. I consider it famous.
I also can't take much credit for it, as much as I'd like to. But, I went to college with your narrator before he was your narrator, and then he exploded. Like it just exploded right in the middle of like Branded and stuff. So I have like set pictures with him on it, but I don't. If y'all have never seen his channel, he has like 2 million subscribers.
2 million?
Yeah, like I have subs because he shouted us out when we did his face reveal.
Yeah,
he's awesome. He's an awesome guy. Yeah, he's at 2.39 mil, and I'm so proud of him. He's like, if there's anybody on this earth that deserves that amount of like views per video, it's that guy, because he earned it.
Yeah.
He, How did we get here? Why was I talking about?
We go down stories. Doesn't matter where we go. But we were talking about
we have
Branded.
subs. Yeah,
you have subs. He hasn't. They have a good following. I like their content that they put on the page. So yeah, check out the Morning After Show with a U.
That's right. If you like poop jokes.
Yeah, it's a very funny short film on there. A horror film is on there. A Star Wars fan film. Casting
just
couches.
in every genre you can.
Yeah, they do casting couches. Movies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that was back to the box office. That was a really cool thing to see, because as you guys probably know, I'm a huge proponent of going to the movie theaters. I think that's the best way to watch a movie. I know I sound pretentious or whatever, but it really is, because we watch these two movies that we're about to talk about at home, but there's still that feeling of like checking your phone. There's still that feeling of getting up, use the restroom, blah, blah, blah. You're in that movie theater. You want to sit there and finish the movie. And especially two movies like this, I would have never got up to use the restroom ever, because I don't want to miss one fucking second. But obviously I can pause here, get up, use the restroom. But there were distractions, and I had something outside my apartment that was a distraction as well today. But so yeah, I think that's a really good news for the box office. I thought this year might be a down year after Spider-Man and after last year and the last 2 years, but if that's the signs of where we're headed for the year, I think we're in a good
we're in a good spot, man.
Yeah.
I work at a movie theater, so I definitely felt it with this box office turnover, man.
Yeah.
Lines out to the door for Uncharted and Dog of all movies. It surprised me, I think, more than anybody, because I really was not expecting Uncharted to blow up as much as it did. But I mean, I think that just sort of stands to where video game adaptations are moving nowadays. I mean, they used to have just this massive negative connotation. But now it's like,
They
you
still do.
Absolutely.
they still do, but now it's like, they line up more with your standard blockbuster than they do of just like what the fuck was that? Like the original Super Mario Bros. Is what I got in mind of just like, what the hell are you even thinking? But yeah, no, I mean, it's been a great weekend. I think it's ushering right into blockbuster summer over the next coming months. I mean, we got Batman, then we got Doctor Strange right after that, then it's full blockbusters.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange needs to chill.
For real.
Doctor Strange needs to calm down. Okay.
Oh,
I have seen the craziest rumors all week. I know everybody's talked about it already, but
oh yeah. Hey, Tom Cruise?
If Tom Cruise is Iron Man,
I'm telling you right now.
Talk about late stage capitalism in an art form.
For real, man. For real.
Somehow that feels dystopian.
It feels like postmodern squared with how they're bringing back this fucking this like miscast, man. It's hilarious, man. And they're trying to do it, I think, for a couple other actors too. Like they're talking about bringing John Krasinski either to do a variant of
Which
Fantastic Mr. Four.
Okay, no, sorry, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'm a big Krasinski stan.
But
I am too. But
hear this out too. The other rumor is that he might play, because he had auditioned for Captain America, then he might play a variant of Captain America. And I think that's the whole shtick that Marvel is doing, is all these all these A-list stars who are, set to, act as these characters, but never, got the chance. That this is like, this self-referential fucking, it feels dystopian, like you said. It's so weird. It's surreal, man.
It makes me nervous,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm nervous if they do all this shit. If those are the rumors, man, we're about to go down. We're about to go down a rabbit hole. Okay?
Oh, we're not here for those movies.
Yeah, we're not here for that. We're not here.
Honestly.
Honestly, though, that is a good episode to have, especially when Doctor Strange comes up.
We should do a Marvel, we should list our top Marvel movies.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I'll have to tell you off screen my true thoughts on that, and then we'll have a podcast for that one for sure. Speaking of Marvel and all that kind of leads us into Francis Ford Coppola. He came out last week for the first time in a very long time. And people that don't know, Francis Ford Coppola directed some of the most famous movies ever. The Godfather.
The most famous movies, man.
He directed The Godfather. He directed Apocalypse Now. What's another one?
Shrek 2.
Shrek
No.
2.
No.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that.
He did
actually played Donkey.
He did the Outsiders. He did he did some movie that flopped. And that's kind of like what made him want to stop doing
the Outsiders, the Greasers and Soch movie.
With Rob Lowe.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
Rob Lowe has been around, man.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
He did Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, I think it was Jack with Robin Williams. Like that was one of his last movies, and it was so shit.
Yeah.
That he sort of just, he admits it's shit. I'm not it's subjective, but no.
So he walked away from studio filmmaking a long time ago because he said it's some shit. So then he came out at last
hot take, buddy. That was a real hot take. Yeah.
So he came out last week, and obviously he's joining a long list of older directors that are kind of like shitting on Marvel movies.
Scorsese is like the poster child for it.
Yeah, I think that people only bring up the Scorsese thing kind of to make money now. It happens every time a Marvel movie comes out. Like Scorsese was just fucking mentioning his thoughts, and he doesn't even. It is what it is. But he's now on that long list of directors that have come out and talk shit about the Marvel movies. And I don't have his quote pulled up exactly, but the gist of what he was saying is pretty much they're all the same fucking thing, which I think us three will agree they are.
They totally are.
But the thing that kind of interested me was he even brought in Dune. And I know you've seen Dune, Jacob. I don't know if you've seen Dune.
I have a complicated relationship with Frank Herbert's Dune.
What about the latest adaptation?
I have a complicated relationship with the latest adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune.
I think we all do.
No, because like I was, he lost
awkward.
his cans. Hold on,
he was laughing too hard. He broke it.
Oh, not the Audio Technicas. All right, he's back. All
Oh,
right,
man.
so
we're good.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I'll come out and say it. I haven't seen it. I was so excited for it. I love Timothy Chalamet. He's my pick for Robin. I was like, let's do this. This is gonna be sick. We got Aquaman in here. Khal Drogo's in here. We got all these cool people. And then it was ruined for me by like, when you associate a certain work with like a certain like type of person.
Mhm.
That happened. So I need to watch it still.
Yep.
But I can talk to you all day about Lynch's Dune. I watched the original Dune because I saw the trailer for the new Dune. This is a couple of years ago, and I was like, that was sick. What the fuck was that trailer? And my dad always talked about Dune, so I went and watched it, and it felt like I was watching Star Wars again for the first time.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that movie's a train wreck, but it's so much fun.
I mean,
and
you can't even like talk about Dune without talking about Star Wars, and George Lucas can't even take credit for Star Wars without talking about Dune. Like he has
George Lucas can't take credit for Star Wars.com. Like just in general.
A whole nother,
but we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah, whole nother conversation. Oh man, we have a lot of fun episodes coming then. But yeah, he had mentioned Dune and No Time to Die, which I can understand No Time to Die a little bit, but Dune was kind of interesting because he lumped it in and he said, yeah, his quote was like, he said, they might be better than the Marvel movies, but they're still kind of that same style. And I'm like, I don't know. Dune definitely wasn't that because the general audience was kind of like, because it wasn't that same style. It was something different that they hadn't seen, and it kind of challenged everyone intellectually for a big time movie like that. It really did. Like a lot of people walk away from it. What happened? What did I just watch? I didn't know it was a part one. Spoilers, by the way, though it's a part one. There's a part two coming. And that was a general reaction. Like people loved it. They didn't know if they hated it or loved it or liked it. They were just like, what? And I'm like, that's
the point of Dune.
Yeah.
Actually, it achieved exactly what it needed to do.
Exactly. And I'm like, so he lumped Dune into that conversation. I'm like, I don't see that. But obviously he's a legendary director. But what's your thoughts, guys?
For Marvel, yeah. I'm not gonna say no to that, Frank. But no, for Dune, I mean, I'm in the same boat. It's, maybe he's come from the standpoint of it's an IP that's already been done. It failed. Let's move on to do something new. Like that's the only way I can try to fudge the numbers of what he means by that. Because it was like, if you've watched Denis Villeneuve, Denis, he does his own take. He does his own, statements on whatever film that he does is always, completely original, even if it's from an adaptation. That's, that's his thing. And that's what I got whenever I watched that film. And while, not everybody has to agree with me. I don't have to agree with Frank as much as I love his movies. As much as I'm a fan of him, I would disagree about Dune. I think that Denis, he took one of the biggest risks in recent history just because it's a film that was considered to be unfilmable. Yes. Yeah, he did exactly with Blade Runner. It did with Dune back to back. Like that's what he's done. So, to each their own is all I got to say. But frankly, I disagree.
Yeah. Denis Villeneuve did it twice. Like Blade Runner 2049, my favorite movie, knocked it out of the park. And then he takes on another one, 2 movies back to back that could ruin his career. And he doesn't this guy is legit. What about you, Beau? I know you haven't seen it, but any thoughts?
No, just because I haven't seen Dune doesn't mean I don't know Dune. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of fiction. I only read spec fiction. I only read sci-fi. I only read horror. I only read fantasy. And quite frankly, I could say I exclusively read fantasy at this point. But here's the thing I have to say though. I don't think it's a fair compare. If you're comparing Dune to comic book movies, then the only true comparison there is that they're both based off of written
Work.
and they're not original screenplays. That
But you can
seems
say-
like horse shit to me.
But you
Yeah.
can say that about literally anything. Any half of Martin Scorsese's films.
Didn't he adapt Godfather, or was the Godfather book written after?
Godfather was he adapted The Godfather.
Yeah.
He also adapted Apocalypse Now. That was called Heart of Darkness.
I don't know, dude. That just seems like lazy filmmaking. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
see, like, this is where we get into, like, I think it's just your grandpa being pissy about millennials.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, also, I think that these old directors, I think that they don't give us, as much of a shit
No.
as the media would like, as media would like to portray them to be, because anytime that they got a movie coming out and they got to do interviews, they got to do press release. The number one question, and it's kind of, it's kind of Scorsese's fault. It definitely is, but it was like even something that he was trying to do is now, now these interviewers and these press release people, they got to ask all these directors, so what do you think about Marvel movies? And they're not going to lie. They're not going to say, oh yeah, I sit down and watch it, like 10 times a day. But like, do you really think Francis Ford Coppola is sitting down in the fucking movie theater to watch Endgame?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I hope Cap doesn't get croaked,
Yeah, you think he's there day one?
He's
I
in
mean,
there critiquing,
Even Quentin Tarantino was like, yeah, it took me like 6 to 8 months to go see Endgame. He was like, I didn't even care. Just didn't hit my, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah,
Honestly,
dude.
I think the problem is like, it's not superhero movies. I do think the problem, and I'm gonna hit this point every single goddamn podcast. I think the problem is streaming. There's just they're mad that there's not enough movies like Martin Scorsese's movies that are getting the attention in theaters from the audience to go make lots of money, and that studios will push that to go to theaters, that they can only push superheroes. They're mad that they can't get their movies in theaters anymore, which is fine. But I do think it's because of streaming. There's just too much. Like Netflix is like, yeah, Martin, I'll throw you $100 million to go make this movie as long as it can be on Netflix. Like, and Warner Brothers is like, no, yeah, we'll stick to Batman. Live life. We know Batman's gonna make us at almost $1 billion. We don't know if your movie's gonna do that, so I can't spend that much, and that's what it is. So streaming kind of like kills.
There
it
you got
all.
the next reboot plan for Batman.
Yeah, next reboot. What?
No, I'm fucking around.
Oh, I was
but they do so many Batmans in such a short amount of
like,
time.
bro,
man.
you
It
just gave
wouldn't
me a
surprise
fucking heart attack. I'm like, they're giving up on Rob Pattinson already.
Technically,
You know-
they're bringing back Michael Keaton. So
I heard, I was reading about the new Batman recently, and I actually read that the director murdered Robert Pattinson's parents to like help him method act.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
he actually
that.
asked for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but
He
that's
actually asked for it. Yeah, that sounds like Rob.
that's a whole conversation. We'll be mentioning box office and movie theaters a lot going forward. Let's dive into it.
Oh, damn,
French-
yeah, we have to talk about these Noirs, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
French Connection in Chinatown. Let's
I have one thing to say for French Connection. Literally, if I could just say one thing about it.
absolutely.
Those fucking zooms, baby.
Yeah,
Those
dude.
zooms.
Those zooms.
Oh. Okay, that's one of my favorite things in all of cinema. And I think in today's modern like cinema world, nobody zooms, man.
Yeah.
Not like that. Within the first 30 minutes, it's
Yeah.
establishing shots that are like, what the fuck were they shooting on? The Hubble? Like, god damn.
Yeah,
Like, those
the
zooms were nuts.
the last movie I've seen in the last, I don't know how long I've been watching movies like crazy that actually like did it like that was Steven Spielberg's Munich. But Spielberg is like the only one that still does that, which by the way, if you haven't seen Munich, do fucking watch Munich. That's
I'll
a
watch
fuck.
Munich. I haven't seen
dude.
Munich.
Oh
I
my
try to
God.
stay away from Spielberg. I have a nasty like his name's nasty in my mouth. Not to say I don't like his work, because what kind of white kid in his mid-20s isn't like like, oh yeah, you've never had a Red Bull? Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Not to get too sidetracked, but Spielberg's last 20 years is my favorite. I don't like his early 20 years, which are obviously his most famous with E.T. and Third Close Encounters and Indiana Jones and all that, and Jaws.
I was about to say Jaws?
I
The
love
inventor
it.
of the blockbuster?
I love it. Like, don't get me wrong. I loved that time, but I personally love what he's been doing the last 20 years a lot more, which is a lot of biopics. He's been doing like hella biopics.
Oh, like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love what he's been doing. Like
Oh yeah.
it's been fucking amazing. But again, that's a whole other sidetrack. I mean, we're gonna stay focused. We're gonna start off with Chinatown. French Connection will be next. Chinatown.
That's
will be
right.
first.
We were starting with Chinatown. Okay.
I love that you mentioned the Zooms, so I can't wait to get to French Connection. But Chinatown will start off. Opening thoughts, Jacob, go.
All right. Oh man. It's always so weird talking about Roman Polanski movies because he remembers Roman Polanski.
Jeez.
But like, goddamn, dude, he can make a movie. Chinatown was so good, man. It's so hard, I think, for directors to be able to create, these noir films that are deeply layered without it being convoluted. Whenever I was watching Chinatown, it's, I knew what was happening and I knew all of sort of just the branches and the layers, everything that had to be peeled back as it just gets deeper and deeper without, forgetting where I was. And that's a struggle for a lot of directors to be able to successfully do. With this, we see the connection of, Miss Mulray's wife or husband and the relationship that he had with her father, and then how it all ties back to her father's relationship with the daughter.
Took me by surprise. Let's say that.
Yeah, we'll get to that twist. I promise. I
want
to hold that. I want to hold that. Yo.
We have some reverse fucking Sigmund Freud relationship bullshit going on, man.
I was about to say, man. I was like, is that your dog back there?
Damn it. I'm trying. Hold on.
I love it.
There we go.
I love it.
It's a lost cause.
Yeah, it's a lost cause. I love the Blu-rays in the back, but go ahead, Jacob.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, something that I loved about Chinatown was sort of, it was the themes of self-image for me, because, you look at all these business tycoons and moguls and these, rich millionaires, billionaires for our times, but, they're only doing things because it gets them more power. And, it has this image of philanthropy, yet it's the exact opposite of what's going on behind the scenes. They're building dams for the public to bring water to California, but it's only going to put more money in their pocket and helps expand, the LA's territory. And then I see something that's sort of similar going on with, Jack Nicholson's character, Jake, through the film is sort of, everything that he does serves his own self-image in some way, depending on it being, the cases that he takes or how he handles them. But it's, there was just sort of this whole subtext thing going on. He wanted to hold himself up sort of on this, different pedestal, and that gets broken down as the film goes on. And as he gets enveloped into the story that he could easily walk away from. I mean, he gets, chance after chance with either it being, our femme fatale or her father trying to pay him off to just walk away. But it's his own choice to keep coming back and keep getting involved in the story. And it reveals more about his past and sort of what made him who he was as it tells where he's going. And it's something that's so nuanced. It's so hard for, directors to accomplish that. I think that this was an accomplishment for Polanski. It's not a bold statement to say that, but it is. I love this film. I love it. I've watched it probably like 3 times now, and I could watch it 300 more.
Yeah, this was right after Rosemary's Baby. I mean,
yeah,
5-6 years after.
Now that
obviously
after killer movie.
It's interesting to see that. I actually didn't know that, but have y'all know William Friedkin directed or Friedkin, whatever his name is,
French Connection.
William whatever his name is, directed The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we have 2 noirs done by 2 horror directors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that. That's really interesting.
That's cool little tidbit. Yeah, no, I knew you did Exorcist, but it's sort of weird to think about their, switching out between noir and horror.
And the cool factoid about Chinatown and obviously Polanski is, without diving deep into Polanski's crazy muddled life that is just too much, that but beforehand he had obviously Sharon Tate was murdered, and he left Los Angeles. So for him to come back and make a film about Los Angeles kind of speaks a little bit more about his thoughts on the film as well while he was making it. But Beau, opening thoughts.
I think that Chinatown was a pretty dope movie. When I went on Noir, that was pretty much the vibe that I am always searching for. You know, when I look what I look for in my Noir, I'm a sucker for dialogue. Your movie could be shot on a Nokia phone from 2004, but if they are saying cool things, I can overlook it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why Noir is so damn interesting to me. Is because there is just such a the dialogue is always living.
That flashy dialogue, man. It's
Splashy
like,
it's catchy.
it's
It's in a jargon that doesn't exist.
pretty much, yeah. And if it's done right, it's the equivalent to action scenes with
Yeah.
how it bounces off of each other. It creates a rhythm and a tempo, and it's so fun.
Absolutely.
And it's so hard to do.
As a comedy writer, I think that might have something to do with it. It always draws me to the dialogue because
Oh yeah.
it's
And
just
the final words of this movie are just like they stick with you no matter what. Like that's part of the dialogue. It's like no other type of movie can end a film like that, which we'll get to, but keep going, Beau. Sorry.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I like French Connection better for other
Yeah.
reasons.
Oh, yeah.
There's some French Connection just hit me in the. I think that was just the movie I needed right now. I don't know, but I had never I have a hard time seeing Jack Nicholson as anybody else other than
the Joker.
No,
Oh, Shining. Yeah.
can't remember his name right now for some reason. but
Jack Torrance, baby.
Yeah.
That's right, Jack Torrance, baby.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Look at that look at that dump truck, Oliver. Damn.
Yeah. I see Jack Nicholson and I always think either Shining or what's it called? Joker. Because it's two
Joker.
equally crazy characters that he's played. And it's like anytime he smiles, and I'm just like, oh no, don't ruin the movie for me.
He has
Don't.
such a chaos always in his eyes.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
like that.
But
To
like
see him
back
as
then,
such a go ahead.
yeah, back then he wasn't the Joker. So it's like when people were watching it then, it was like it wasn't weird. But for us, it's like this new generation of people watching Chinatown. It's like, yo, dude, that's the Joker, man. Like,
Yeah, I think it's I guess we're allowed to talk about Batman.
yeah, we're gonna be talking about Batman a lot.
So a lot of older people say like the Keaton Batman is their Batman. That's everyone's Batman. Have you ever met a single person who hasn't seen those movies and like didn't claim that is their Batman?
I'd be someone that doesn't claim it's my Batman.
You don't claim Keaton?
I claim Bill.
That's
I grew up with Bale.
So did I. So
I thought you said Bill, and I was like, who the fuck is Bill?
Yeah, I thought he said
Dude,
Christian
my
Bale.
mind was racking so hard of all the actors that have played Batman. I was like, I do not remember a Bill.
He's like, I gotta think about Batman Beyond. Who voiced?
Yeah, that's where I was going. I was like,
Batman
fuck.
the animated series. Whose voices? But yeah, I
But
grew up with
no,
Bale.
I don't know. Back on Nicholson, like he plays such a I like it. I just like the way he exists on this earth
Mhm.
when he's walking around in that movie.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
He's so smartly cool, man. Like everything that he
Yeah.
does, it feels innovative.
Jake, just like being cool as hell,
I mean,
walking around.
even the name Jake Giddy's like that's just
It's
a
a
cool
perfect
name.
Jake
perfect.
Giddies. It's fucking it's badass.
That's awesome.
I had wished both of these movies were in black and white. However,
Oh,
for real?
you're a
Yeah,
black and white.
I
Noir
prefer my
guy?
noir in black and white. I like the history.
Mhm.
So when I was in film school, I had to do an entire project and teach the class on German expressionism,
Mhm.
and which is where I learned Tim Burton was a hack, which I can get into later. But
Oh.
noir, it looks the way it does because of German expressionism.
Mhm.
All those elongated shadows, so like everybody loves, that came from them frisky Germans in the 20s.
Mhm.
And without them, I would say that Chinatown had more than French Connection. There's a really great, like in the very beginning of Chinatown, with those those Venetians, those hard shadows that just like dissect your frame and just provide such a layer of like detail. I can just like,
Especially the way that they direct the shadows. Like there's some different about your film is hard shadows versus your film has purposeful hard shadows.
exactly. And then the
that's-
Germans, baby.
I think that's a good topic of discussion too before we dive even deeper in that movie. It's like, for you guys, what is a noir film for you guys? Like, what, when someone says film noir, what is your idea? And if a movie, like for me, like you said, like French Connection doesn't really meet my standards of what a film noir is.
Oh, agreed.
But Chinatown kind of hits on it like perfectly with everything. It's just not black and white, which I agree. Like, I think of noir, I think black and white, but French Connection felt more like that crime thriller action.
Oh, yeah.
And crime obviously is noir, but I think of noir and I'm thinking those harsh shadows. I'm thinking of all the characters are corrupt in their own way. Then you have a female character that's kind of like, she's not your normal actress back from the 60s that was always a damsel, always the beautiful girl who could do no wrong. Those noirs, the female character had a point in this story that was either dark or just very gritty or something, that they were somebody that was up to something. So that's what I look for in a noir. And it's like Chinatown hit all of that. And I'm like, this is the perfect noir for me.
When I think of a noir, I immediately, there's a sound cue that goes off. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for y'all, if you'll allow me the space for a second. It's a little something like this. The trumpets and the trombone.
Oh yeah, the whole fucking brass section coming in.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Anytime something goes down, it's like, and then I dropped my pizza. And he looks up, takes a long drag off the cigarette. Someone's in the back, yeah. Kenny G'ing it up. Oh, hell yeah.
Gotta have the cigarettes, man. Gotta have them.
Oh, always with the cigarettes, man. It's not a noir film if it doesn't have fucking cigarettes.
It's not. If you're not smoking everywhere at all times, you're not in a noir.
For real.
And yeah, I demand it. So
I don't know. If your actress do not have lung cancer by the end of the shoot, throw out the fucking film.
Jesus.
Like, that better be Walter Whiting it up a little bit.
Do y'all prefer your noir set in LA or do you prefer them in New York?
As long as it's big city, man. Like, I would love to do noir. But if I got a preference though, it's New York. I think that I think West Coast is a little too new wave for me. Like whenever you go into New York, it's back to like America's roots. It feels like, but sort of just the sentiment. Like, even though those movies were shot in the same fucking places. Yeah, I know, but still, there's always a different vibe. There's always a different vibe because, like, I don't know, any noir that's focused in New York City, it's always like it has like this like it's another character. New York's a character. It is. It is. It feels like so close, like, Great Depression and what's it called? Like the Roaring '20s, sort of like that whole era and that whole sentiment. And then whenever you go to California, you're sort of pushing away from that. It's they focus on different aspects. It feels like we're sort of like that background layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'd prefer mine in New York. Only because, like, you see
Chicago.
Or Chicago.
I'm okay with Chicago too.
But if you see it doesn't matter if it's in LA, but when you see a movie in LA, you just feel the Hollywoodness. You just feel it. It's there, and sometimes it doesn't feel as nuanced. And obviously, all the neo noirs that have been coming out in the past few decades. I
was about to say there aren't that many. I can name 5. Maybe I'm just uninformed. Please tell me there's more.
What's your 5? What's
my? Okay. Within the past. Okay. Well, Drive, Brick, 2049. Ta-da! I have 3.
Sin City. That's another. That's
oh shit! Yeah, the most noir that ever noired. Yeah.
I mean, even the latest Nightmare Alley does kind of, for me. I think neo noir kind of, for me, it has to. Neo noir kind of for me is like any noir film that has come out 80s to now. I think anything before the 80s is straight noir, but anything from the 80s now, because that's whenever Blade Runner kind of took it in 1982 with being the first like neo noir, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And everything after that has kind of been like, okay, you can set a noir in any kind of setting you want. And so it's like, if it's not New York, LA, that might be a neo noir,
That's fair. I don't know the actual semantics. I know there's some film student out there that's like, actually,
no, I'm playing.
Like, I don't know exactly what makes a noir. Like, I know that it has to have those specific shadows. And I think I remember like
Well, it does and it doesn't. I mean, everyone has like, I've looked up so many people's different definition of a noir, and everyone has a different fucking definition. I
Yeah,
think
because
that,
oftentimes it's just associated with a crime thriller.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
crime film with a cop or investigator or something, and
Something that has, dark tones.
Yeah.
It's more of like a cynic or nihilistic look on life, and the style follows suit with that.
yeah,
If I would classify neo noir, I'd say it's, like they check off the same boxes, but it's not like restrained to that specific style. It's able to break away and do something creative, because that's what you
Yeah.
got to do whenever something's been done so many times, or else you're making
Yeah.
the same fucking movie.
Right. And I always think color palette too, because
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, black and white, harsh shadow. But
Yeah.
with neo noir, I
You can-
immediately think of like bright ass colors, because
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
Runner
like that
was such
neon.
an important film
yeah.
just for style and cinema in general.
I mean,
Right.
I would even consider Good Time to be a neo noir.
Yeah.
Was stylistic, because I mean, like, whenever you talk about noir, like it depends on what you classify it as, whether you want to classify it as as a style or a genre within its own
Yeah.
mind. For me, I classify it more of just a style. So that sort of broadens it up. It's anything that sort of plays on noirish themes.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have to be like noir.
And
I hear you.
and I do, and back to Chinatown now. I think that Chinatown is noir. I don't think it's neo noir, but I know some people might say it is. But
I refuse to.
I refuse as well.
Yeah,
I think,
because that movie starts off in black and white and then it fades
Yeah.
to color. That's an obvious nod.
yeah, and I think that Chinatown is like if you want to study a noir film, there's a lot of there's a top 5
Maltese
list.
Falcon.
Yeah, there's a top 5 list of what you should go look at, and Chinatown is in there. It's 100% in there. I think it is 100% a noir film. I think it's one of the best noir films of all time, if not the best. Some people might consider that. It plays off like that, and I think what separates itself from some others as well is it's a murder mystery at the same time. It's a full-on murder mystery, trying to figure out who the fuck killed this dude the whole time. But then the movie like unravels itself. All these subplots are all over the place, and then they somehow continue. It falls in.
It connects
place.
and it
all
fits.
falls in place to where that twist.
And then you
is-
have the traditional archetype of, I'll tell you what happened and I'll tell you how it happened quick.
Yeah.
And then they just exposite the entire film. And
Yeah, which they have to at some
but it's
point.
just great. I love it.
Um,
It's always good.
But that twist is, in my opinion, I think the first time I've seen it twice now. That twist, the first time I saw it, was the most shocking thing I'd ever seen on a movie, in a movie I'd ever seen my entire life. I was genuinely shocked. Like that, you don't see that coming. Like, and so now I'm watching on the second watch, and I'm like, okay, I need to see the signs. I need to know where is this? But it is, there's no like clues that are laid in front of you. It's all in the actors' faces. And then, the way Faye Dunaway, the first time she tells him that it's his sister, it's like I'm watching her, like she leans up against the fucking the wheel in the car, and she like looks at him and she's like, she's my sister. And that was like her just deciding right then and there. It's like, okay, which one do I want to tell him it is? Because I can't tell him it's both. That's fucking weird. And then, by the way, here's the twist. I don't know if you guys can talk about the twist right now. Like, go ahead, but I'll talk about just go ahead and lay it out there. The twist. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Whenever I was watching it, I was sort of trying to focus on those plot points, and they really laid out the subtext. But at the same time, like it feels like it's right in front of my face. Like whenever Faye Dunaway, she first talks about her father. She's stumbling over her words. She's lighting multiple cigarettes at once, and you see like she's taken out of where she is. And that's like the first time I was like, oh shit, yeah, I should have paid attention to the father more. I mean, like you just see the father as like that typical just rich asshole, and then you find out like he's the rich asshole dad. He's that fucking dude. Yeah, dude, it's so haunting, man. Like I think that from the point that plot twist is revealed all the way to the very end, it's just, I've never seen something that is so haunting and so disturbingly real. Like, I don't even want to talk about the fucking the plot twist. I want to talk about the end, man. That end, no ending has ever stuck with me more. Especially with the cinematography. Like Polanski, he lets the camera just follow the actors. It's just, it's long take after long take of, just being comfortable with the camera. It's not doing too much with editing. It's not doing too much with cinematography. It's just being the moment, and it all pays off in the end because it takes this hyper realism that you don't expect the film to do, because that's not really that noir style. That noir style, like, it's dramatic to a point, and there's a reason for it. But whenever that rug is pulled out from underneath you, it reverberates the whole message of what's going on, and it's amazing.
Yeah. For some people, obviously we throw out spoilers here, so this is a massive spoiler. The way the plot unfolds is, our Jack Nicholson pretty much gets hired to find out if this guy is cheating on his wife, and he finds out that he's cheating on his wife. But then he gets killed, and then you find out that the woman that he was cheating on his wife was her sister. But then you find out, with the big twist, when Jack Nicholson is slapping the shit out of her, that it's her sister and her daughter, and that her father, who's a very powerful person in the story, raped her as a kid. And her sister / daughter is almost nearly the same age as her. So they don't quite say what age she was raped, but I could say probably around the 10 to 14 range. You could probably
All I'm
say.
saying is, man, if I was the product of my dad and my mom, but like my mom's also my granddad and my mom, and I came out looking like she looked pretty good for being a inbred. I gotta say, good for her. You know what? Good for her.
Oh my!
She could have had it a lot worse. It could have been a lot more obvious the entire time.
For real.
Yo,
Like, she's a little bit of a snack.
Off the rails.
She's definitely not one of them West Virginia inbred. I can tell you that.
God damn. All I'm gonna say is Faye Dunaway. She carried them jeans, man.
But yeah, that twist is arguably one of the most famous twists of all time, and it kind of, I don't know. Me and Jacob are on our second and third watch. Beau, first time you've seen this, your reaction to that?
I paused it. I was like,
hang on,
what?
Did you watch it with anyone, or were you by yourself?
There were things happening around me while I was watching it, and I paused it and I looked up, and Madeline was like, "Why is Jack slapping the shit out of her?" And I was like, "I don't know, but she was raped." And then I pressed play.
Oh,
and that's how those were those moments. And I had to sit there and I was like, I didn't expect that from 1972.
Yeah.
No.
I expected that from some weird indie, like, I don't know. It feels very I thought it was good. Like, that could have come off and played so
bad.
I was looking for a better way to say that, but yeah.
It just
bad. It could have just not done. It could have just not worked.
It could have so easily just not aged well. I mean,
some of it didn't.
I feel like the background information with Polanski, it didn't age well, but like looking at just the film itself.
Also, like, even though it's one of my favorite parts of the movie, that might get me in trouble. But when Jack Nicholson is telling that racist ass joke in front of his coworkers, and that lady walks up behind him, and he turns around and he's like, and his buddies are like, "No, dude, this is yours. Yeah, we tried." Yeah. Awesome. Man. But like, he had to stop saying Chinaman. Like, it's an old man slur if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. I and kind of just that whole, racial undertones for that,
really weird racial undertones.
They talk about Chinatown. They're the only people that are Asian in the film are butlers,
servants.
The maid, a gardener. They work for these terrible people. This is the only Asians that you see until they actually go to Chinatown. You see all the Asians, and it's like, and he tells that story at the beginning of the film, and it's like, damn, dude, like, man, movies really just got away with everything back then. you know.
Have you ever watched? Okay, with that being said, have you ever watched any of the Dirty Harry movies?
No.
Holy shit! Holy shit! You could say whatever you wanted in those movies.
Oh, when did those come out?
Same time period.
70s. Yeah,
Oh
same.
wow. Oh wow. Yeah.
They're
I
a
mean-
great time. They're a great time for action movies. By the way,
French
but-
Connection had some of those racial undertones, but they were more.
Yeah,
They were
with all
more.
the-
They were more on the nose about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were a little
sorry.
more.
They
Blatant
were like,
with
we're
their-
racist, and we're gonna tell you we are. Chinatown was like, I want to be racist, but you know what? We'll beat around the bush because they're not black. I don't know. But yeah, it's not a huge focal point in the story, but when you look at the whole story as a whole, it's like a movie called Chinatown. The only people that are Asian in the film are not even a focus of the story.
And
not
it
even
had to,
that.
It had
but
to
the
do
other
with
time
him. It was his old district, It was his old precinct.
Yeah.
I ain't a cop. Do I look like I'm a cop? I don't know. I don't know these words, but
Yeah, district.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't quite complete my thoughts on that whole aspect of the story. I kind of thought about the twist and the ending and the themes of this film, but when you think about that, it's like obviously, good thing we've come such a long way.
The 70s were wild.
I mean, I like to imagine that there is, some metaphorical point to it, like, the same people that he's taking the water away from, it's the same people who, help them personally, to do servant work. It's such a personal job. Because you see these people face to face every day in your life, and just to turn around and, fuck over these people. That's like the only reasoning I can come to. But even then, it's just, I feel like there's, for it to have that better nuance, I could have seen more of, like just more interaction with, the Asian Americans within, this film, especially because we've seen how not well old Hollywood has aged with, what they do with people who are people of color acting in Hollywood films. It's just, it kind of comes to that whole like licorice pizza scandal. It's just, you never know. Like I want to pretend and say that, okay, there's a reason behind this, but also it's like, I think Polanski was also being kind of racist.
It's scandal.
Moment of discussion. We talked about it, so it's a scandal to me.
Oh, but yeah. What was y'all's favorite scene, Beau? I'll start with you. What was your favorite scene of the film?
Oh, I really like. There's a specific shot that I was just really obsessed with, and it's when he's tearing ass through the orange grove, and he kicks the car into reverse because the horse appears, and then he turns around and he's hauling ass in reverse. I just really liked the way that was shot for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't have nearly as much to say about Chinatown
As French,
but I have a lot.
yeah, we're about to.
We're getting there, but I'll tell. I think my favorite scene, dialogue purposes only, is when he's talking to the dad, and he's like, "You don't know what you're getting into." Yo, yeah, you're right, dog. I really fucking didn't. Okay, I really didn't know what I was getting into. You're right. One to the old man. That's my favorite scene in the movie, I think.
Yeah, that's such a good line too, because it's like because like the whole lens of the film is like him. Everything that Jake finds out, we're finding out at the same time, and it's like he doesn't know what he's getting into, and neither do we. And it's like, yo, that line is kind of haunting, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Let's find out more. And I think that's really cool. So that is a really good line in a film. Obviously, it's a really famous line, but and then he's like, yeah, the district attorney in Chinatown used to say that to me all the time, and it's like, maybe you should listen, man. You're about to see some nasty shit. What about you, Jay? What's your favorite scene?
Man, I'd say other than the ending, I just think that's too easy. I wouldn't even say it's a particular scene, just more of segments of the film. It's whenever we see Jake's intuitiveness. Like I liked how he has a bunch of a bunch of watches in his car, so that way he can just figure out whenever somebody left. Like that's genius to me.
That was so sick.
That's
I was like, why do you got so many pocket watches, weirdo? What are you, a
Yeah.
terrorist?
And then you see what he does with it. Also, I loved it with the boat. Just like he doesn't cut like Polanski. He doesn't cut away again. It's with these one takes. And you see, Jack Nicholson being Jack Nicholson with his personality. He's being, snarky and he's funny. And you just watch as the boat follows, and he slowly is tilting his camera away, and it's so subtle. It's smart. It's smart noir. You see how smart Jake is, and it's not. You don't have to tell us he's smart. You're just showing us. It's just all those like little bits of him have to, be one step ahead of the game. It's cool. It's something that not a lot of noirs put a focus on, is that innovation of the character that Polanski did.
Yeah. I think my favorite scene was probably that whole, I guess it's a sequence. But it was the whole part where we're finally figuring out information about Mrs. Mulray, and she goes to the house where his sister/daughter is, and we're literally finding out so much fucking information at that point. And it's like, yo, oh my, like you're thinking in that moment, from the moment she gets that phone call in the bedroom and she's like, I'll be right there. And it's like, all right, here we go. And Jake like goes and makes sure that he, breaks her mirror, and so that she doesn't know that he's following her, to the point to where we go and we're outside of the house. We never go in the house until the next scene, whenever he confronts her, but we never go in that house, and it's all from outside, and you see the girl, and it's like, oh my God, she's keeping that fucking girl hostage. She killed her husband. And then you find out she didn't kill her husband. That's her sister, but you don't quite believe her. And that's really cool, because it's like, you still don't believe her, but it's like, that's a hell of a, I guess, because the girl wasn't tied up. The girl wasn't like being held against her will or anything. She was just there. And it definitely didn't seem like she was like keeping her away from everything, but it's like, you don't believe her that it's her sister. And it's like, that whole scene is just really cool, because it's like the first moment of the film where you're finding out information without someone fucking telling you, without him having to talk to somebody. He's spying on shit. And I think every time he went to go spy on some people in the past, he got shot at. But this is the first time where like no one's saying anything, and you're finding out information. It's like some of the biggest pieces of information, after her father just told him he'd pay her to find out where this girl is. Okay, fuck. Turn her. It's a really cool scene that kind of makes you turn away against Mrs. Mulray for just a second, until the big twist happens. So that was a really cool scene for me, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's always so cool whenever a director is able to successfully bring you into that perspective of the main character, because we don't trust Miss Mulray whenever Jake doesn't trust Miss Mulray. It's just it's having that relationship with the actors on screen with the viewer. It's always so fun whenever that's accomplished successfully.
Yeah. So before we move on to the French Connection, closing thoughts. Is it one of the best things you've ever seen? Is it you're going to revisit this movie? What's your final, like, all right, this is a great movie, or this is a terrible movie? Go, Beau. What's your thoughts?
I think that I'll probably watch it again in like 5 years.
Why so long?
Because
he wants to forget the plot twist.
Yeah. Or I just like, maybe not 5 years. I don't know. It's like when I dive into a genre, I don't tend to rewatch the same things. So like, if I want to understand, like, because I really like noir, and I like the way I haven't seen a lot of them, but it's always been like, for instance, I have a noir I want to do. I can't do it. It's too expensive, but it's something that I've always wanted to write. And I want to turn Blue's Clues into a gritty noir. And like Joe comes back. I'll talk about it later. But it's not my favorite noir. It's an extremely good movie. It's one of my favorite Jack Nicholson movies now. Easy 8 out of 10.
Blue's Clues,
Easy 8 out of 10. Oh yeah. It's called Cerulean. Which is just it's called Cerulean because that's a pretentious shade of blue.
Yeah.
No.
Cerulean, man.
That's you, Jacob.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite noirs of all time. I still get stuck between calling it noir and neo-noir. Like everything is textbook noir except for the color. It actually has color. But for me, it's if I'm gonna give it a rating, probably like 9.5 out of 10. It's up there for me, man. I love watching this movie. I love just sort of like, you know, moody noirs that capture your attention from start to finish, man. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing we didn't talk about was the score. I mean, that's
Oh yeah.
that's probably
I mean, I did a little bit, but
yeah, that is probably the noir score. Like that's the way it's supposed to be. And it was it sticks with me, man. Like I'm about to like start writing to that shit. It's so reminiscent to me. And I know they're not the same, but it reminds me of Taxi Driver score. It just sticks with you because it's the same beat that keeps appearing every now and then throughout the story. And it's like, this is shit's going down or it's just amazing.
This score is like if like Taxi Driver is done on a trumpet instead of a saxophone. No, it's so dope, man. I love this score.
I think just that score alone is why I love this noir. You don't even have to have words. It's a great silent film with just that score. But my thoughts, I think it's, you know, the noir film. Obviously you have Maltese Falcon and Double Indemnity and all those that are obviously the famous ones. But this one kind of like was the new wave. It kind of was quote unquote the start of the neo noir, even though I don't consider it that, but it kind of like threw out that option of like, it doesn't have to be black and white. It can be in color. It can look really good. And I think that the story is perfect. I think it's an original type of story that we hadn't seen from noirs in the past. And obviously well casted, perfectly directed, and perfectly acted. It's so well put together. And then I always like say, you know, obviously we had this conversation about directors, but, you know, kind of like in the sense of like, it's not my favorite, but I do acknowledge that it's a near perfect film. It's not my favorite. It's not something that I'm going to be watching next week, not next month, not next year or something, but it's perfectly crafted. And it's like, okay, if you want to study a noir because you want to make a noir, obviously watch this film, you know, or
it has to be among the first you watch.
Yeah, it has to be.
If not, you're crazy.
So yeah, and I don't have to love it, which I do. I mean, on Letterboxd, I think I gave it a 5-star, but that's literally because I think it's so perfect. It's I mean, there's no perfect movie. Obviously, there's flaws, but I think it's for what the genre is. It's definitely top 3, top 5 ever, and I don't think many people will dispute that, but there will be some people. But anyways, we'll move on to a sort of noir, and The French Connection, directed by William Friedkin, with some actors that we probably all know. Go ahead, Beau. Lay it on us. What you got?
I am obsessed with the cinematography in this movie. Obsessed. I felt like I was not supposed to be watching it at all times. Like there is a level of grittiness in that movie that I found so refreshing.
Yeah.
Like that movie felt so run and gun in the best kind of way. It felt like my first question actually is how the fuck they did sound for a lot of that.
There's a lot of running. It's a lot of chasing.
As a boom op, I am exhausted.
Yeah.
Looking at that movie. I'm tired. My arms hurt.
There's one moment in a film where Gene Hackman is screaming while he's driving, and there's no sound of him screaming. I'm like, yeah, I bet they lost the sound at some point.
There's so many cool moments in that movie where there's no sound. Like when they're in the club and they're having conversations.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter what they're saying. That felt so real.
Yeah.
Right? And the dialogue in that one in particular, Gene Hackman is a madman in this movie.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of him this month because I recently just watched he's in Unforgiven, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just seen Unforgiven for the first time because I'm on my Western kick right now.
Yeah.
And he's starting to become one of my favorite old man actors. Like I'm really after French Connection, absolutely. That movie is so like the 70s attitude of cops.
Yeah.
Like just being the pecker ass cop.
Just a fucking dick, man, but like a cool dick.
He
my
definitely goes
favorite,
off the rails.
the train scene in French Connection.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
Amazing.
That is arguably, in my opinion,
one of the best scenes ever shot.
That is
easily
the best car chase / train scene that I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Which one?
Which one? When he's chasing the train and he's going through all those cars and all like.
Oh yeah, under the
bridge, like,
and he just wrecks his car and
the whole way. And I'm like, why do most movies not film car chases like this? What the fuck? They did it.
Or what about
70s.
the foot chase? The foot chase at the very beginning.
Yeah. Fucking
oh my god,
dude.
Dude, I want to know what they shot that movie on, because those lenses were incredible. The way they zoomed, like the way they framed their shot while zooming and moving. That's complicated camera. That's why I wish modern cinema cameras had rocker switches.
Yeah.
Like an old like shitty Sony like camcorder. Those zooms are so gas, dude. They're so much fun to work with. Because like you can that movie is a perfect example of why I think that.
Yeah.
Because it had such a depth.
It is. It's so fun.
Or starting your shot 55,000 miles away and just zooming out and panning over, and you just find the character in the middle of the city. It's amazing. That's why I think French Connection's an easy 9.5. That movie fucked me up. I love that movie.
Just technically, I've tried to do like fucking a fraction of what they've done with that cinematography. It is so hard to do, man. Like the amount of finesse that you need to have. And sure, you could say, oh yeah, they have equipment to help them. It's a technical skill, man.
Yeah.
They didn't have the stuff we had now. Their ACs didn't have wireless monitors. Their focus pullers didn't have the things modern ACs have.
It's all of it, man. I think it's such a technical
that movie's that
DP
film. That is a director of photography achievement. Like that's a cinematographer's dream. Yeah. That movie's amazing.
Well, something that caught me with this film is this is one of those films where they tell you nothing. It's just you have to watch it to figure it out. It's like shut the fuck up. It's sort of like that anti-noir, like what you're talking about. It's like they have to explain everything for it all to make sense. This is just he doesn't care. He does not give a fuck. He wants to you are in it for the ride. You're not in it to know. It's sort of it's a little bit of like what I think Chris Nolan's doing a little bit in his modern age is he doesn't care about his dialogue. For the purpose of storytelling. His story tells a story. And that was what was so fun for me watching this project is, I'm trying to figure it out as I go along, and that's pulling me in even more than what I thought it would. It was dope.
Yeah.
It's such a dope movie, man.
I think that
Michael,
movie,
please.
that movie. So for me, it was like the beginning, like you said, is like, they don't tell you anything of what's going on. Like, it took me a minute to get into it. I think I got really started racing with it, started racing with the film by the 20-25 minute mark, because the first things you see is like them chasing after black people. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be another racist film. I just watched Taxi Driver. I'm like, all right, I get it. It's the 70s. Let's move on.
You want to come over and watch Birth of a Nation?
Yeah. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, like this movie has French in it. There's no way they're gonna be chasing black people the whole way. So I'm like, this is not my movie. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to turn this off. But
it's the French Connection.
Harlem Connection. Yeah.
A Harlem Connection. So I start getting into it whenever the story starts to run. Like when this movie starts running, man, it does not stop.
Yeah, the last hour of that movie is just nonstop.
It just goes, man, and it's like. What is it? And that's what I mean. It's like it's not your essential type noir. I don't even think it's noir.
I don't think it's a noir.
But it just rolls, man. It doesn't stop, and it doesn't feel like it's not a heist movie, but it feels like that in some sense. It just doesn't. It's so much, but it's not even an action film. There's so much chasing. It's just walking through the city. It's
almost like People Simulator 2020.
Yeah,
it feels like playing walking around the city 2020.
I'm like the only parts that the movie stops me is whenever they go back to France. But once those dudes come from France to America,
dude,
it's nonstop from there, and it doesn't end.
It's like it has the pacing of Rise of Skywalker, but the difference is that this one's good.
Yeah.
And I'm actually having a good time, man.
You're gonna have to let me chew on that for a second. That
I don't remember much about Rise of Skywalker with the amount of times that I've seen it. The only thing I remember is just, goddamn, dude, this movie goes and it does not stop.
yeah, if How to Basic was a film, like God. I thought sorry, Michael. One of my favorite scenes is when they bust up that bar full of black people just hanging out. And
it was a good scene.
That seems awesome.
It was a good
Picking
scene.
your feet. What does that mean, dude?
You figured after a while that it was like all a setup because it just kept going, and it's like, Jesus, are you just gonna mess with every single one of them?
What are you doing with this guy back there? Is this about to turn into?
They put two of them in a phone booth. Like, what are you doing? Oh man, but that was a good. Like every scene is like really good, but like again, once those French guys hit America, it just rolls, man. And then the guy, like one of the French guys, I forget his name. I think they called him Frog One.
Yeah.
Frog One, he even says it. He's like, I haven't been here for 5 minutes without a cop on my tail. It's like, you haven't, man. And we've been watching it. We've been watching you. And I was talking about earlier, the funniest scene to me, it was literally a dance. It's whenever Gene Hackman in Frog One, I forget the guy's name, but they had that little dance where it's like he gets on the train, he gets off the train, he gets on the train, he gets off the train, and it's like
so fucking good.
It was so good, and it was so funny at the end because it's like, damn, he got him, and he's like,
so good.
It's the first moment you know that he knows that he's being tailed. Like you're thinking the whole time, it's like, all right, Gene Hackman's not even doing a good job. He knows he's being tailed, but then it's like, it just keeps going, and it's like, what is this gonna stop?
Can we get into a little bit more about scenes where they're tailing people? Because they did it. That movie is that.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It really is. I got kind of bored in the middle. I was like, I have been watching you chase this guy for what I feel like was most of my early 20s. Like, what are we doing here? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, that's the fucking point. They cut their budget in half.
Yeah. That really is. Like, they sit in the car, they watch these guys, and then they go walking on the street. There's like an entire like 15-minute section of them just chasing them, walking through the city. But then you find out later on, I don't know if you guys picked up with it, then you find out later on, those are honestly like different days. That's not just one day, because they said, the guy at the end says, you spent 2 months doing this. Said like, that didn't feel like 2 months, man. That felt like one fucking day.
Yeah.
And apparently that was 2 months of following those guys around and not getting anything done. And I'm like, okay.
I've said a lot about Gene Hackman. I've shed a lot of love on him because I thought he slayed this movie.
He did.
But his partner, there's a scene where we're following a perp, and then like the camera, it feels like the camera forgets to stop rolling, and then it's like pan, and then all of a sudden, I think it's like a zoom out, and then your homie, the partner, is just hauling ass down the street chasing this guy. It's like, that's so fucking cool. Like, don't ever turn the camera off, I guess.
Yeah, they really did.
How did they do sound?
They just kept rolling, man. They just
all that city noise.
Dude, they're just like, we'll figure it out, man.
What the fuck? Like,
I'm most definitely watching the special features for this. Like, I gotta figure out how the fuck they did that shit.
Oh, and the cinematography is just so good in that movie. Like, it feels like so. This is one of the times that I loved film grain the most. That movie looks like shit sometimes. It just has like so much grain.
What'd you watch it on? What was you
I
streaming
rented it on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah, that's what I had to watch it on.
Get yourself
but I loved
Blu-ray.
it.
Get yourself.
Oh, I will.
Blu-ray.
But I want to see that. I want to see that movie on like film.
Most definitely. Oh yeah, man, that'd be so cool to watch it on film print.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie on actual film. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm a terrible film man.
I need to look up. The budget for French Connection.
I want to say maybe 1 mil.
I can't. I watched a little bit of the special features, and the director had walked by the building that the sniper was on. And he was walking down, and he was like, this is where it happened. And I'm like, wait, this was a true story. But I'm like looking it up, and this is a book, but it's like, I'm not like seeing where it's like this is based on a real story or it's based off of true accounts of cops and drug narcotics, but I don't know if this is a true story in all those events. But it's like that's a really cool piece of information. I'm like, oh wow, this is a true story. Like, holy fuck. You're telling me some woman walking her kid just got shot and Gene Hackman's character just went on and chased this guy through a fucking train that reminded me of Spider-Man 2. I thought they were going to fall off the fucking end. I was like, this is Spider-Man 2. Nice. I was like, nice ripoff, Sam Raimi. Good job. But I'm like, if that's true, holy shit, man. New York in the 70s and whatever time that is. Fuck, man. That's some legit shit.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude. I love it because I looked it up. It had a budget of 1.8 million.
Low budge.
Well, that's a lot back then.
Yeah, I mean, you give that inflation.
Wait.
That's probably like 10 mil. Probably like 10 mil. But yeah, I mean, like it's a relatively low budget. I mean, it's relatively decent budget. I mean to say. But like they use like this sort of like this guerrilla style filmmaking of just like it's a camera. They just go with it. I love it, man. I think that it feels weird to me. It feels like a movie that should not work, and it should be some shit, but it's so fucking good, man.
Yeah,
I love it. It's just there's not a lot of stories like where they do not give you any context, and there's not a lot of films that just hang with the camera as much as it does. It does what the camera actually does, but they do everything to a T to where it's so successful to where it's this ride. I don't think that there are as many films that are just like grimy and dirty in a good way with this film.
Yeah,
it's just like
I totally agree.
It's a different type of grittiness, man, and it's like it's this campy sort of. I don't want to say self-aware, but like it does feel like if you could successfully mesh campiness with grittiness, you would get this film, and it's fucking spectacular.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. Give me some more thoughts, Beau. What else you got, man? You were in love with this film.
The ending.
The ending? Oh, okay. Before you got the ending is one of my only gripes. I have a few, but it's probably my biggest gripe with the movie. And it's only because of the setup. It's because I love the idea of, okay, we know the shit's in the car. Okay, we're going to put it back in. We're going to catch them where they're at. I don't love the idea of letting them drive off, see you on the bridge, and then let them drive back. And now one of the guys got away, because I think that was at the end whenever they say, oh, Frog 1 got away. He was never found. I'm like, you did that to yourself, man. You could have fucking stopped them right then and there. I didn't like that because I'm like, okay, you could have stopped them.
That's a valid critique. That's not why I like the ending.
Yeah. That it just threw me out of it.
No, the literal last thing before we see like the words on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
You don't see what happens. Roll credits.
That's fucking
That's
badass.
hype. That's sick.
Yeah. That's
you don't need to
badass.
see it. That literally you get a whole movie of nonstop crazy cool action.
Right after he just killed a cop.
And then it subverts your expectations at the very end. And then it tells you what happens.
Right after he just killed a cop too. So it's like, did he?
Yeah, he really did.
Did he kill someone else again? Like, what happened?
No, all we know is that he is no longer doing that.
Yeah. I thought someone died, but apparently someone probably died again, but we'll see.
If he never got caught, then he just misses. I don't know.
That dude's got to be dead at this point.
He's got to be crazy.
2022. Yeah.
Great movie.
Great. What about you, Jacob? What'd you think about that ending?
Oh man. I thought it was fucking wild. I mean, I'm kind of like exactly where y'all are. It felt so convoluted, but like Beau said, whenever we see that shot go up, but we don't get to see if it hit or not, it's just sort of, it just rolls the credits and you should just sit there and take that ending. It's subversive in a good way. I think that is sort of, it lets you play what happens next in your mind, all at the same time. I'm telling you, like the whole aftermath and text. It was not what I was expecting. Honestly, I think after this podcast, I'm gonna go watch it again now that everything's going on. It demands that rewatch.
The
This
French
is like
Connection
what,
is something I'll be rewatching regularly. I really enjoy that movie.
it's so weird because it's one of those movies for me. Like whenever I finished it, I knew that I loved it, but also like I did not know what to think about it. It just sort of left me just like, God damn, like this broke so many film conventions in a good way to me.
Yeah.
That exact feeling is it kind of left me with a feeling of when I finished No Country for Old Men the first time.
Yes.
It's like after
really?
Tommy Lee
love
Jones'
that.
little spiel, and I sat there and I was like,
That's it.
Really?
fuck.
See, I got that feeling after Chinatown. I was like, okay. This one, I like got that feeling. And I was like, okay, I'm watching this again because that was fucking badass. Like,
Oh, it's such a it's actually kind of a quick ride too. It's only 104
Yes,
minutes.
it's only 140 minutes.
it blows by. It no offense to older movies, and I know the old heads,
but they
drag for us into the, we can only watch them at home, can't watch them in a theater. Like I'm about to go see The Godfather on Thursday, which is 3 hours long in theaters, and the only reason I'm gonna fucking watch is because it's in theaters. I'm not watching The Godfather every single day because it's like that's 3 hours of my goddamn life.
Yeah, that's like watching it's Lord of the Rings for different people.
Yeah. So I'm like, this movie, an hour and 47 minutes. Back then, these movies we watch today, it's that still feels like a long time. But this movie, whoosh, and then it was over. I was like, oh fuck, it's over. I wanted more. Tell me more.
There's a sequel.
I did see that. There's a sequel. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it because
I am absolutely not going to be partaking in a sequel to French Connection.
I'm like, those are one of those sequels that's like, okay, hey,
Schindler's List too. Like,
God.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
I need to tell you all about the time I got tricked into seeing The Boy in the Striped Pajamas in theaters.
What the fuck even is that?
It's a Holocaust movie.
It's a Holocaust movie. I was like 10 and my mom got a free screening. They're like, let's go see it. And I was like, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. That sounds like a funny movie.
Yeah, you think it's like one of those fucking like early Steven
it.
Spielberg type fucking blockbusters, just some goofy with the name.
And then, so towards the end of that film, no spoilers for Michael. I promptly got the fuck up and walked out. I was like, I am 10 years old. I do not have to do this right now.
Yeah. Mike, you need to watch Boy in the Striped Pajamas, man.
Oh, that is one movie I'll never watch again. You couldn't pay me.
I had to watch that from my 6th grade lit class. We read the book. Yeah, I read the book and they made us watch the movie.
Yo, that's such a good cast.
It's so heavy, man.
That movie's fucking rough.
It is.
I love everyone in this goddamn cast.
Burn that
Watch
movie.
it then.
Would you say that movie's gas? I'm sorry. So the French Connection. French Connection, boys.
Back to it, man. Enough of the
Holocaust. I agree with you. It doesn't really function like a noir, except it kind of does. So if you want to talk about a neo-noir, I could understand it here because this has a lot of noir elements. Because the dialogue is hype, super cool dialogue in that movie.
We have only one N-word in there. I was proud of them. They didn't. I
didn't even hear it.
Oh man. He was like, "Don't trust it," and I was like, "All right, you got your one. I know it's the 70s. You got your one. This is post Martin Luther King, though. You got your one." There's so many movies back then that just.
That's why you should watch some. It's not like you should. I'm not advocating for.
He's like, you should watch more racist.
The guy in the bean tank top has a lot to say about race today. I think, dude, it's the 70s. The 70s. You had Muff. They were just now like experimenting with titties in movies.
Yeah,
and like,
that was still new.
The James Bond movie
that was fresh.
Those Sean Connery is like the way he treats women in those. It's like that's a plot point. Is him treating women terribly in those movies? Like that's not even like a character choice. Yeah, the plot choice. They're like, all right, James Bond, you gotta either fuck this woman, hit this woman, or pawn her off to be a prostitute.
And then James is like, "Oh, I'll do all three."
Oh yeah, the 70s, man. It's a wild time.
It blows my mind that Star Wars came out in the 70s because I like at that point I'm expecting Harrison Ford to call Chewie the N-word or something like. Like what if you could slide the N-word into one place in the Star Wars movie?
It's got to happen at some point.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, all right. Back to French Connection.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts. What y'all think?
One of the coolest fucking movies I have ever seen.
What is it? And I mean, I know it's a tough question, and we'll ask you this another time. Me and Jacob talked about the first time, first episode. We were like, it's hard when people ask you, what's your favorite movies? I'm going to give you 100, but do you think this would be in like your top 10, top 5? I don't
No,
think
not
so.
yet. Not yet.
You need a
It
few
could
more
be.
times. Yeah.
Let me see it a few more times. It really could, like, put that movie on when I need something on. It just, that movie scratches the right parts of my brain.
Yeah. You want to get your heart racing? Put that movie on.
Yeah.
And get rolling. Yeah. I feel you.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on it?
I just need to know how they shot it. Okay, it's gonna keep me up.
I can't wait to see your research on the next one. Send it
I
all
need
to
to.
me.
I want to get deep into his filmography as well.
Yeah.
Because have y'all seen The Exorcist?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I watched that recently for the first time. And
My
that movie
my
fucked me
family's
up.
got some history with The Exorcist, man. Like my mom's side, they're deep Catholic. And so
Me
whenever
and Beau's eyes both went, what the fuck, bro?
yeah, no, my mom, she's devil worshiper. No, but like my family's deep Catholic, and so whenever they watch that film, it fucked them up. And whenever I was a kid, like my mom, I wanted to watch it so bad. My mom would not let me. She's like, "Fuck that, fuck you. I'm gonna fucking burn this book and this movie if I fucking see this shit. Not in my house, motherfucker."
You see, my family's Christian, and my mom put that on for me when I was like 8 or 9 years old. She's like, "Watch this shit. It's so fucking cool. Oh my god!" And I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" But it's funny nowadays.
It
Back
is, man.
then,
I don't know.
it's
A little girl
terrifying.
saying obscene shit,
Okay,
looking like a head of broccoli.
it's
That was terrifying.
it's funny if you've seen the scary movies. Where
Oh
they-
yeah.
I'd seen that before I saw The Exorcist, so I had that in my head. I was like, I can't see anything else. Like, I just can't. I can't.
Oh
Yeah, no, dude.
man.
For
What are your
French
closing thoughts?
Um,
No, I was
fucking-
asking you, Jacob. You
Oh,
were-
my bad. My
Yeah.
bad. Oh, dude. For French Connection, whenever I finished, I was like, I really want to watch this with some fucking Michael Mann shit. Like, I could see me watching Heat back to back with French Connection. Just some nonstop cool action, man. I love it. I love it. Mike knows this. I feel like you'll know this. What I mean by this, whenever I watch something, like I'm a mood watcher. Like I want to watch things like in particular times of the year. This is like whenever it's deep July, man, and I'm watching Michael Mann. I got fucking Manhunter, and I got fucking Heat playing. I'm watching this dude, man. I fucking love it. I love that gritty just out in the open style filmmaking, man. It's so fucking cool. This is a cool movie.
yeah,
It is cool, underlined cool.
it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I was taken away. Like at first, it's like on for the first like 15, 20 minutes, and that's where I'm like, okay, if there's anything wrong with this movie, it's the beginning for me, and that's it. It takes a minute.
Yeah, there's
And-
some parts that are slow.
Yeah, it's only in the beginning. It takes a minute for this film to get going, but my god, I'm telling, like it doesn't take your usual 45 minutes to get going. It's a short movie. It's an hour and 47. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and then once you hit that 20-minute mark, you're off to the races, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't end. These guys are chasing their car chases. Again, best car chase.
Some of the best
seen.
I've ever seen.
It's dude, the fucking inside of the car where Gene Hackman is driving, they put the camera while he's driving. They did not do conventional car chase film.
Yeah, or like, are you talking about that shot where it's like the side of the car and then it's just like over here through the passenger window?
Yes. And I was like,
how?
wow. And then they put a camera like at the very front of the picture of the car. And as the driver is driving, you're literally like about
hauling ass through New York.
Yeah, you're about to hit all these other cars with him. Like I'm actually like backing up in my seat, and I'm like, yo, dude, he's about to wreck. And he starts hitting other cars, and you're like, okay, he's not. And Vince, like, car chases, they won't hit other cards. It's almost like they're fucking like invisible to the rest of the world. It's like, how did that card not hit them? But this movie, he hit every fucking thing in the world.
Oh yeah. I'll
And
give
it's
you your car back,
fucking
I
amazing.
promise.
Yeah. And then like all the while you got the fucking dude on the train fucking hijacking the train. And it's like, this is badass, man. He's just like, don't stop, as he's holding the gun and he's just killing everybody in his way. Like, oh, and the killing in this fucking movie is actually kind of violent for the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s were wild.
Holy shit.
Even if their blood looks ridiculous. But
70s was just, that's like whenever Hollywood started becoming just cocaine filled, just fucking energetic. They're fucking just like,
when did this film come out?
Bursting at the
think
seams.
it's
1971.
yeah.
So I'm I can understand. I know we're getting sidetracked, but like Taxi Driver got was controversial because of the violence whenever it first came out, and Martin Scorsese had to mute those colors in that scene. By the way, Beau, have you've seen Taxi Driver, right?
Yeah, of course.
The final scene, if you didn't know, those colors are muted when he's killing everybody because the fucking MPAA wouldn't let him. They were going to rate it NC-17, and he was like, "Fuck." There's a whole crazy myth about that.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, those colors are muted and they're completely different. It's like the violence in that is not as bad as the fucking killing in this one. Like, I felt those gunshots in the French Connection. Like, holy shit, when he kills that dude on the train, what the fuck, man? Like, that was legitimate killing, man. And then holy crap. And I'm like, that's violence to me. I'm like, what we saw in Taxi Driver is just like,
it's weird. I don't know.
Taxi Driver is like, that movie ages so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, Taxi Driver, like way back before even Martin Scorsese was set to direct it, just whenever Paul Schrader had that script, it was low-key almost blacklisted by Hollywood just because it was this fucking just weird, super dark, super just fucking desolate script. It could have been the politics of that coming into play. I mean, like whenever you watch the violence at the very end as a climax towards all the context, everything that happens before, I could see it in terms of that, as opposed to this is just the super gritty type violence where, you know, it's stylistically different and what they're trying to achieve was different. But either way, man, it's just people are weird.
Yeah.
The weird literally grinds their gears.
So in talking about both these films, you know, Chinatown, French Connection, I think we know Beau's answer.
Oh, absolutely.
French Connection over Chinatown.
For sure, any day.
Jacob?
Oh man. I mean, it's hard for me right now. I'd say right now it's Chinatown, but I know that I need to rewatch French Connection just because now that I know what I'm getting into, it's gonna have a different resolution with me. And I guess see me after I watch this 1 or 2 more times, I'm gonna fucking love it. I already loved it, but like I think that I rated it. I think right now it's like 7 out of 10 for me right now, but I think that
interesting.
It's going up. It's going up. It was just like I said, like the whole beginning of like it's literally its only show, and they don't tell you anything. That's what caught me off guard, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I think one thing for people, if you do go watch it, is don't have the mindset. I know we did this as our double noir feature. I don't know, but I'm speaking for my own person. It's like I went into it thinking it's going to be a noir, and that's why like the first 15 minutes kind of like are boring to me because I'm like, what? This isn't noir. What's going on? Like they're just chasing people and they're just talking. There's nothing really of substance going on. It's not harsh shadows, all the shit. Where's the females at in this? And he just hates black people apparently. Don't have that mindset. Just go in and try to have a great fucking time watching this.
This is like the 70s Lethal Weapon for me. Like it's you know it's that fucking catalyst for stylistic cop movies, man.
What you looking up, what I said?
I know. Yeah, you're right. You caught me.
I mean, it's only a bright ass fucking light on your face that popped up.
If it's not noir, I want to know where it got its influence.
I still think that I want to call it almost like an anti-noir, where it's doing all the things that like, you know, making noir a noir with just narrative storytelling, but also it's not technically.
It's a thriller. It's
thriller. It's
literally
labeled as a crime thriller.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's crime thriller is perfect. I think obviously film noir is a subgenre of crime. I mean,
Also, do you know how many awards it won?
I know it was probably nominated for like everything.
Okay, at the 44th Academy Awards, it won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Editing, Best Adapted Screenplay, and it was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing.
Yeah, that makes
Like it actually whooped everyone's ass for. Oh, and y'all were just because we've been saying it wrong the entire day. The running time of French Connection is only 104 minutes.
which is an hour and
44 minutes.
44.
Oh, then forgive me. I don't know how to read. Actually, no, it's correct. Because like maybe there's only like one movement in film history that I just completely missed in college, and there's a blank space in my mind for it, and it's French New Wave.
They don't talk about it a lot. I mean, at least at UNT, they don't really talk about French New Wave all that much. I think that I've gotten like one movie for it, and that was it.
Interesting.
It's definitely a portion of film history that we're going to be diving into at some point in this podcast.
Dude, French New Wave is so fun, man.
I've never seen anything about it. Like I missed that day of class, literally.
Dude.
Like I actually missed the day
that
of
one
class.
day. That
It
one
was
day for
one
real.
day we
It
watched
was.
hundreds of films.
No, so
No,
when
I'm
I went to
playing.
film, it's not really important, but I had to teach German expressionism to the
Yeah.
class. Somebody had to teach French New Wave, and I fucking missed it. So I was there for every other class. Don't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
I was
The
thinking
one
like,
day-
what, maybe this
the,
is
the main director I know is Jean-Luc Godard.
exactly.
Yeah, he did one of my favorite films he did is called 400 Blows. That's like what started French New Wave. So if you want to start there, start
Thank you,
400
yeah.
Blows. Start 400 Blows.
But I don't. Yeah, if it's not noir, I don't know what French Connection.
Yeah.
It's crime thriller.
Yeah, I described it.
Yeah,
earlier.
crime thriller. It's 100%. You could throw in some action in there if you really want, but
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's in my top.
15.
I'm gonna get even grittier. It's in my top 7 action movies.
Action movies like that.
Like
I respect that. I honestly I could agree with that.
I've just for the car chases
Yeah.
and the foot chases alone.
And I mean,
When you're in film school, they teach you how to do like chase scenes, and I wish they'd shown me that because I would have approached everything differently.
so in connection with the Batman, because that's why we were watching it. It's one of the influences on the Batman. I think it'll be fucking weird if we see Batman rolling down the streets in car chases and trying to chase somebody, walking in the middle of Gotham, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm following this." I don't think we'll see that in the Batman, but I do think we'll see a little bit of the partnership between Jim Gordon and Batman that we saw between Gene Hackman and Roy Schneider. I think that'll be something that we see. You know, what do you guys think?
I think we already have. I know Jimmy Kimmel released a clip. I don't think Mike's seen it 'cause he's trying to be as blind as possible.
I am too.
I saw it. I saw it.
Oh,
I have
whenever,
seen 2 trailers, and I
whenever-
refuse to watch all 19 of them.
whenever
So-
he slaps around Jim
Ah,
Gordon.
he said-
I
I didn't hear.
We're so close. We're so close. Just
1 week.
1 week. Yeah, I gotta. And I'm so like pissy at the world. I'm so different. I'm so deep. No, when it was released that our boy Rob was gonna be Batman, everybody was like,
Oh, dude, I was
"Not my Batman," and I want him to just absolutely shit on him. I want him to shit on everyone.
Once that
He
first
is.
trailer came out, people were sold.
Everybody, dude,
I'm
I'm
vengeance.
so excited, man.
It's so. If it feels like a 70s action film, it will be the best Batman in the past 15 years.
I have a slight theory that instead of him saying I'm vengeance, he's gonna say I'm Batman. I think that they recorded that for the trailer because it's kind of tacky nowadays. I'm Batman.
It's
kinda
pretty
tacky.
fucking yeah.
But when you see it in the movie, everyone's gonna be expecting I'm vengeance. But if they say I'm Batman, dude, I'm gonna be floored.
I'll probably rock a boner for that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be like when Christian Bale does it in Batman Begins, it's like that's fucking cool. But like the more you watch it, it's like that's kind of cheesy, man. That's a little corny. And then obviously what's it called? Michael Keaton, when he says it, it's fucking corny. It's nowadays, but when Rob Pattinson says it, dude, that might fucking like yeah, you're right. Rock a boner for that, bro. Like all day long.
I want to see it be better than any DC movie before it. That's not the expectation I'm setting for myself personally for that movie. I just want it to be good. Like, I just want it to be fun.
I think it's got that potential, man. I could see it becoming a better Batman story than Dark Knight. Definitively, I think that Dark Knight is like, it's a fucking blockbuster. Look,
No, I agree. The Dark Knight is not even a Batman movie. It's not even a Batman movie.
It's
not. It's exactly what we just saw from French Connect. It's a crime thriller. That is all, and some action, obviously. You can't get superhero movies.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like
there's not a Batman movie.
It doesn't have a superhero world.
No,
yeah, it doesn't.
It's fucking Chicago. Like, he doesn't hide it. Every time I watch it, I point it out to people. Batman Begins is the only Batman movie Chris Nolan ever made. Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises is not a Batman movie. Besides Bane, Bane was a badass Bane, but that's it. Like, there's no Batcave in Dark Knight. He goes to some fucking bunker. He's Batman for a little bit. He doesn't really do much detective work as Batman. He does it a lot as Bruce Wayne a little bit. So it's like, that's just a crime thriller. So yeah, it's going to be a better Batman story, but obviously The Dark Knight is the standard for superhero films.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, it's Batman and Robin. The looks on both your faces. You did the same movement.
Because I'm like, okay, I thought
Also,
I thought he was about to say some serious shit.
No,
and
never.
He's like Batman and Robin. I'm like,
no, never. I even like Batman Forever. In fact, I love Batman Forever.
I think there's just like small bit in everyone that loves those movies.
Except Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin's objectively one of the worst pieces of garbage ever made.
Batman and Robin.
We have a friend that is his favorite movie. And he's the biggest Batman fan in the world.
Oh
he calls
God.
himself. That is his favorite Batman movie.
Dude, I remember the first time I watched Batman and Robin, my dad made me watch it because I wanted to watch Dark Knight, but I couldn't at the time because I was like 8.
You just made me feel really old.
Oh, that's him. He's 21. I'm 24.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little younger, man. But yeah, no, I remember even whenever I watched this as a kid, I was like, this is kind of some shit. Like,
It's pretty
Really?
bad.
I don't know how to like.
That's all I watched.
I don't know how to define what was a bad movie back then, but even then I was like, I don't like this. Why the fuck does Batman have a credit card?
That's all I watched as a kid.
Oh God, that
was all I watched. Those Batman movies, that was it. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're a fucking young, 8, 9-year-old kid. I'm watching this shit on VHS because obviously we weren't born whenever that shit came out. And if we were born, none of us were old enough to see it. And it's like, I watched that shit on VHS, and that's the only movies my parents had for me and my brothers. And that's all we would fucking watch was all those 3 Batman movies until Batman Begins came out. And then it was like, oh, fuck, Batman Begins. That's fucking badass.
So wait, you had Batman, Batman 2.
Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Those are the 4 Batman movies my parents had. Those are the only 4 VHS films. We also had like a Backstreet Boys DVD.
That counts as a noir.
Yeah. That counts. But yeah, nowadays those movies are kind of just fun because it's
Tommy Lee Jones,
Yeah.
Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey.
Dude,
Jim
Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones in a single Batman movie together, that's a history right there.
Yeah.
And the fact that they hated each other makes it 10 times funnier.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking
shit.
Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey, man. Like, they had beef.
Oh wow.
Well, I wouldn't want to work with, even though Jim Carrey is my literal deity. Like, I don't think I would want to work with him. If you're hearing this, Jim, call me. We can work something out. But
although I did like his new take on acting that he had.
Oh God.
When he came back to acting in Kick-Ass 2. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever saw that, when he like put on a different voice and he didn't look like Jim Carrey. I was like, I dig this. I dig that a lot.
Jim Carrey is the best.
Yeah.
But he's always my Riddler. Like, it's going to be interesting because I was going into this new Batman movie thinking we were getting an official like Long Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recall the Riddler being in the role. I've never finished it, so I could just be wrong.
It's a little bit of Long Halloween. It's Darwin Cook's ego for Batman as well. But he took a lot of inspiration from a lot of movies and books as well. But
I want this to be a 70s action film.
it is.
It's just gonna be that.
It is. But with
But
that,
if I get some French Connection zooms in this Batman movie, I will be painting the
Greatest
screen
movie of
white
all
with my
time.
ejaculate. Yeah,
did you watch
like-
you watched The Mandalorian, right?
I've seen. Oh yeah, I've seen both seasons.
It's that type of cinematography. They use the same type of tools and all that kind of like broke new wave that made Mandalorian look so good.
Yeah,
It's LED lighting background, so it's like
right. It'll look
really-
like a 70s orange movie because
Yeah.
it is orange
Yeah,
so none of it's
and blue. It'll be
none
orange
of
and
it's
blue.
none of it's natural, but it's gonna look natural.
it's gonna look so fucking fine, man.
It'll
dude.
probably look like Joker, or like feel like how Joker was lit.
Oh, I hope not. Joker. I hate Joker, but
Oh wow.
that's another conversation.
The cinematography for Joker was good at least, man.
It was. It was.
Yeah,
it
it feels just like one of the movies we just watched.
Exactly. No, I love
Yeah,
the cinematography for
Definitely.
Joker.
Oh, you Taxi Driver. I was like, if it's Taxi Driver. It
Yeah.
looks like Taxi Driver. It is Taxi Driver. It's so.
It's Taxi Driver.
But with that, we'll take a little bit of a turn before we wrap it up. I always want to ask you guys what you guys been watching because we want to promote movie watching, but I want to know what you guys been up to. So, Beau, you're new to this, so what have you been up to, my guy? What's life? How's life been treating you?
I got a lot to say about a movie I just watched.
Please.
Have y'all seen the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie yet? The one
It
that
came
posted?
out.
I've heard a lot about it.
It did come out last week, didn't it? Oh man. Tell me about it.
So
Okay,
He said so much without saying a single word. It's
like,
amazing.
so the thing is, 90% of that movie I fucking loved. And I set my expectations low because it's a horror film and it's a slasher. And it's a slasher's requel, which is like a remake sequel, right? Because it's a sequel to it's the sequel to the original, like a hard sequel. And it follows a lot of tropes that modern slasher remakes are following, which it actually leads us to a new archetype, I think. Like a new horror stereotype would be like Return of the Final Girl. Like
Mhm.
old lady final girl comes back
Oh
and kicks
yeah.
ass.
No, yeah, they're absolutely starting that. Halloween 2018 has changed the archetype, man.
Yeah, okay. So expect that from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh man. I don't know.
That's
'cause
okay. It's fun as hell. It's so fun. It is
It is-
so much fun.
If it's fun, that's all that matters. All I know is, dude, I love the original Chainsaw Massacre, so I have an emotional connection going
Then
into
you're gonna
it.
hate this probably.
Okay, yeah. No, I'll lower my
Because
expectation. I'll lower my
The
expectation.
ending pissed me off. And not just the ending. I'm talking the last 15 seconds of the film.
Mhm.
They fucked the entire movie in 15 seconds.
Damn.
They had a pretty solid horror slasher remake. And I was like, great, awesome. Ruins it. 15 seconds. Ruins it in 15 seconds. I don't want to spoil it because I want y'all's unique perspectives on this. You have to watch it and you have to tell me what you thought. Because I immediately paced around my living room like, y'all were so close to greatness. Like that literally did not have to happen.
I'll watch
Wow.
it. I'll say just like my one thing is that it does not look like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which is why
It doesn't. It looks like every
Netflix original for me.
yes, but
It's-
that's the Netflix like skin now, you know,
It really is, man. Like they like the exact same color grading
for
in
everything.
every single film. Dude, it's weird.
It's getting exhausting. I have
No.
to say.
I'll watch it. I have a personal love for
And with that being said,
Bad
the
horror
the
movies.
kills in this movie
are badass.
Oh, there is a portion where this lady's hiding under some floorboard,
Mhm.
and that's all I'll say because that's probably the best sequence in the movie.
I got
Like
you, man.
there's some genuinely good shit.
I'll
Some
probably check it out
really,
tonight.
really
I'll-
fun slasher stuff.
I'll
But you're
probably
gonna be
check it out.
pissed. You're gonna be so pissed at the end.
I'm okay with being pissed. I'm okay.
There's some problems with the plot. There's some problems.
Wow.
but don't go into a horror movie expecting, unless it's
it's-
A24 at that point.
It's a, you know, it's a horror reboot. There's only so much I'm not going into it thinking it's the next magnus opus. Like, you know,
I'm
It's-
just saying.
it's the upteenth Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think as long as it's got good kills, I'll enjoy it at the very
And then-
least.
To answer the final segment, what I've been reading, I broke down and I'm finally reading Game of Thrones, as it turns out. I've been putting it off.
Did you watch the show?
I watched up until season 4.
Yeah, I can't even get past season 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think season 5's like the last like great season. I think you found a perfect stopping point on.
I agree, but I agree.
He doesn't know that. Make sure he finishes. We promote finishing shit. I don't.
Oh, good, because I'm terrible at it.
I that is like the one show like that everyone in the world has watched that I have tried so many times to watch. It's just not my thing. I don't. I don't like partaking in pop culture that is kind of just like glamorizing. Let's watch something about sex, death, killing, balls, pussy, heads chopped off.
You forgot dragons. You forgot dragons.
That's the
only partly.
That's the only reason why I want to watch it is the dragons. Like I've seen enough porn in my life. Like I'm good. Like if that's why people are watching it, cool. I know that's why some people watch it. It's so much.
Unfortunately.
But I've seen a lot of kills in my life. Like I don't know, man, go watch The Green Knight instead. You know.
Oh hell yeah! Agreed. Agreed. Great movie.
Have you seen The Green Knight?
I loved it.
It's beautiful.
Loved it.
That was
yeah.
my favorite,
If there's a fantasy movie coming out
of last year.
Oh god.
I got some Green Knight on my desk somewhere, or a pin. I got it for a Christmas gift. But yeah, dude, I love Green Knight, man.
But like the problem with Game of Thrones and like that is there's so many better. I wouldn't say better. The books are actually exceptional. I have to say, as somebody who wasn't super in love, and I read a fuck ton of fantasy, boys. There are so many other adaptations that deserve adaptations. Or sorry, there's so many other like IPs that deserve an adaptation.
Mhm.
Like if I could direct one trilogy of anything, it would be like the Blade itself, the first Law trilogy. It's like if Quentin Tarantino did fantasy.
I would love.
It feels like a Western. Like it has that sort of like dry pacing.
You should write it.
Do it.
No, it's already been written.
By you?
Oh well, no, I haven't adapted.
Blade.
1,500 pages.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah.
Never mind on that. That'd take you a long time.
But every time I guest on this podcast, I'm gonna recommend one fantasy book.
Please. As you know, I've been reading a lot lately. So what about you, Jacob? What you been watching, my man?
Oh man, I watched Interstellar
Damn.
2 nights ago.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw that 5-star. I get so angry every time I see it.
Oh, how can you not give Interstellar a 5-star, man? I fucking love Interstellar.
You're allowed to. I just think it's so overrated.
I watched Kill Bill. I know that you
Kill Bill rules.
Kill Bill's
Kill-
amazing.
I remember whenever I first watched Kill Bill, like the first time I watched it, I was like, it's good action, but like, I don't know how I feel about it. And then whenever I rewatched it the other day, I was like, dude, fucking Kill Bill's the shit. What the fuck was I thinking 2 years ago? It's fucking amazing. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, me and him at the beginning of the year, we made a deal to binge, the directors that influenced us. Tarantino for me, Nolan for Mike. It's like, everybody has that film director that got them into cinema, and that was ours. And I didn't finish it.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, but you didn't finish.
I didn't finish it, and now I'm doing it. I'm catching back up where I left off, and I'm doing both at the same time. I'm probably end up watching Inglourious Bastards, and then
Django.
No, what Interstellar, right after Interstellar. Is it Dunkirk? That's right after Interstellar? Or is it okay? I couldn't remember if it was Dunkirk.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were talking about Tarantino still.
Oh yeah, I'm doing both at the same time. Yeah, I got Inglourious Bastards and I got Dunkirk, and then I'm just rolling with it.
Have you seen Jackie Brown though?
No, actually, that's like one Tarantino film I haven't seen because I thought it looked boring, but I don't know anything about it. So
Fucking watch it.
Dude, it's so good.
It's
Really?
I think it's my favorite film from him. Now, I used to think it was Django, 'Cause
I
was like,
fucking love
man,
Django.
I was like, man, he just made a slave a superhero. That's fucking awesome. Like
Right, and then people have the audacity to get mad at him.
he I mean,
It's kind of black exploitation. It feels very black exploitation, but I
Well,
feel like that was the point.
that was Jackie Brown. That was his black exploitation film.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's just got this way about it that just it's funny, it's exciting, it's dramatic, it's got it's literally got everything you could ever want from a movie. I'm
Okay,
not even
fuck.
lying to you. Sam Jackson, Michael Keaton, Pam Grier,
Michael Keaton.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's in it.
Robert De Niro, Chris Tucker before Chris Tucker stopped acting. Trying to remember who else is in it.
Why haven't I seen this movie?
Dude,
Exactly.
it's
I don't know why people don't talk about Jackie Brown more. Like it's within that style of like it's the perfect in between movie for Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. Just with the style,
dude,
it is such a badass movie, man.
it's my favorite by him. It's
I love
so
it.
good. It's so good.
Dude,
And if you,
Pam Grier is so good in that movie.
and like
man.
the final, the way that the movie like plays itself out in like the final like 45 minutes, because how Tarantino is, man. He's gonna take an hour to fucking do one part of the movie. So that final like 45 minutes and the way he just like constructs it non-linearly, just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Check it out.
All right,
Check it
we'll
out.
have to-
I recommend it, and we'll definitely talk about it. But a little bit of what I've been watching is again, I've been doing my Batman, getting ready for the Batman. So now I'm watching all of Matt Reeves's films. Only one I'm not watching is Cloverfield, just because I'm not trying to throw up.
Oh, not a big found footage fan.
I do like found footage, but I don't know. I've seen Cloverfield. So
Yeah,
many
Cloverfield
times.
gets a pretty harsh rap for that.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot of times. Like, I just know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna. It doesn't hit me the same. Found footage is kind of one of those things. It's like, dude, you can watch it again and again, but it's like you're not.
There's an era for found footage, dude.
Yeah.
But Cloverfield scared the shit out of me as a kid.
So I'm not gonna watch that, but I watched Let Me In, his horror film. It's really good. It's a child vampire, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, and then no, that guy's not in anything. Do you remember Cody Smith McPhee? Do you remember in the latest X-Men series, the guy who played Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid. He was a little tiny kid. He's in this movie. It's a really, really, I guess, emotional film. You definitely feel the childhood moments that are like, damn, Matt Reeves, did you go through that? But it's not really a horror film, but it is labeled under horror because there's vampires and blood and all that. And this, so yeah, that's what and I watched Last Days by Gus Van Sant, but I talked about that last episode. So, and then obviously French Connection, Chinatown. So I recommend Let Me In. Let Me In. If you like horror, check it out. If you want to see more of a serious, non-gimmicky horror that kind of tells a really really sad story, not fun. Check it out. It's pretty good. That's all.
Oh, damn it. If I could recommend one horror movie to anyone that says horror is really boring and they've seen everything horror had to offer, it would be this weird movie called oh my god, it's based off a play, but the entire movie takes place in one location in the dark, lit by candles in a summoning circle. That's the entire movie.
Sounds like Eyes Wide Shut to me.
It's called
I'm
no.
playing.
No.
I'm playing.
I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to send it. Damn it, dude. It'll be in the notes on the video.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in that case, this has been fun. All right.
Oh yeah.
Good talk about Chinatown and the French Connection. Hopefully you guys out there listening will go check these two movies out. French Connection's phenomenal, and so is Chinatown. Jacob, as always, it's been super fun.
Of course.
Thanks to our producer Samantha, but most importantly, thanks to Beau for coming on as our first guest star.
It's been so fun, man.
I think we
Yeah,
all
it's a
hit
good
it.
time.
We all hit it off just like that, talking about a lot of movies, and it's actually we definitely have that kind of flow because there's so many sidebars and we got sidetracked so much.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much that we have to talk about for movies that like I'm debating. I'm like, should we talk about this on the mic or off the mic? And it's like some
Podcasting problems.
Yeah, I'm like podcasting problem. Like we're gonna sit there talking about Spider-Man. It's like, you know what? Let's save that for the podcast. But it's been fun. So hope we'll definitely be seeing you on here soon. Hopefully, coming up in the month of March where we do comedy. If people hadn't seen that, we're our month.
It's right up your alley, man. You said you're a comedy writer. It's about to be a fun month, man.
The theme for March is comedy, spring break, and all that. So I think the movie I'm most excited to watch is Dazed and Confused, paired up with Everybody Wants Some.
Dazed and Confused, baby.
Yeah.
That is my
yeah.
top 3.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It was Dazed and Confused and what?
And Everybody Wants Some.
I haven't seen that.
What?
I'll watch it.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking funny. You haven't seen it either, Jacob, right?
No, I haven't seen your first watch.
Dude, that those movies that like get you. That's like, I gotta watch that right now. Right, that was that movie for me. I watched it immediately after because I was laughing the entire way through. He fucking kills it. It's Dazed and Confused all over again, but it's different at the same time. It's like, oh my god, this is badass. I loved it. So I can't wait for that one. I think we have someone that wants to do that one, but be on that podcast. But there's nothing wrong with having 4 people on there, you know.
We can make it work.
Just let me know.
Yeah. But next podcast will be a little bit of a weird one. We'll be talking about Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes, to be more specific, as well as partnering up with the Batman. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves, and War for the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves, and the Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. So we might be doing a triple feature, but maybe not. Maybe we'll do a Batman podcast on its own, or we'll do Planet of the Apes on its own, or we'll pair them up. We'll see. But that's what you guys have to look forward to. Again, this has been a fun podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening. We will see y'all next weekend.
Shit.